it's Laynie and welcome to my channel. How are you guys doing today? Leave it down below. You know I love hearing from you. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, oh my goodness, thank you so much. It means the world to me. Today we're going to talk affordable fragrances, which is right up my alley. So I hope you are looking forward to it because I know I am. If you enjoy fragrance content, beauty content, and a little bit of lifestyle content sprinkled on top, make sure you click that subscribe button and join the fam. You won't regret it. I feel like my makeup looks very weird in the viewfinder. It often does, but I always look at that and just think, oh, I hope it doesn't look like that when I get to editing. I went with a pretty simple look today, besides the fun bold lip, which is by Ilia Cosmetics, and I believe it is the one called Blue Note. I do love a bold lip this time of year. This time of year, I mean almost fall, because it is almost fall. So if you want to hear more about some fragrances I think work so well for that kind of transitional period in between summer and fall, make sure you stick around and I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's just get going. If you're new here, I live in the Midwest, and this time of year, end of September, the weather can just be all over the place. It was literally like close to 100 all week, super duper hot. The evenings are still getting pretty cool. This week is supposed to be rainy, overcast, gloomy. It can be a struggle to figure out what fragrance category to dive all in on. I need a little variety to make sure I cover all of my weather bases. So I looked through my collection and thought about it. I was like, which one of these really work for this time of year? Because it's no longer summer. So my coconuts, my super fruity body splash style fragrances just aren't what I'm looking for. But my super duper thick, heavy, warm gourmands is not cold enough for that yet. So let's talk about what I picked from my collection. I hope it helps you find something in your collection to reach for this time of year. I decided to grab Cloud Intense. I didn't reach for the OG, even though I think it is perfect, honestly, for all seasons. But it is so worn around where I live, so I'm sure it's very worn where you live. And sometimes it's just, I'm smelling it everywhere and I want to be just like a little bit different than everybody else in the crowd. And this one is a little bit thicker, a little more whipped even. And so I feel like it works for those cooler transitional fall days, but it's still not heavy, cloying, overpowering like some of my other gourmands where it's still going to work if it's warm out. Cloud Intense by Ariana Grande has the accords of sweet, musky, woody, amber, powdery, lactonic, vanilla, coconut, and lavender. In here we have top notes of lavender, bergamot, and pear. In the mid we have some really yummy notes of whipped cream, praline, coconut, and vanilla orchid. I do love a good vanilla orchid scent. And then some really good hearty base notes. We've got cashmerian, ambroxan, musk, and woody notes. I do feel like this one is like the grown-up sister of Cloud. It's very similar. Like honestly, you don't need both in your collection, but if you're like me and you're a collector and you have all three, I do feel like this one is a very good transitional fragrance because it is just a little bit thicker, a little bit creamier, even a little bit more whipped and yummy. I really get quite a bit of that whipped cream in here. But I truly love that this isn't dense. It's not cloying. It's not syrupy. It's not going to knock people out. It's not going to knock me out because it's still the time of year where if something is too rich, it can really be bothersome when those warm days sneak up on you. And it's truly the type of fragrance that I feel like everyone around you is going to enjoy. So for this transitional season, I think Cloud 2.0 is definitely a good one. It's gonna work on those warm days, on those cool days, on those rainy days. She's really that girl. Next one is super special to me because Anna Lauren on YouTube actually sent this to me. What an absolute sweetheart and an absolute dream. I reached out to her trying to buy it off of her and she's like, oh, I would just love to send it to you. Like seriously, how stinking kind. So I will never get rid of this bottle ever. But this is Juliet by Juliet Has a Gun. In here we have the accords of white floral, sweet cherry musky, woody, amber, soft spicy, powdery, nutty, and almond. We have top notes of cherry and pink pepper, middle notes of jasmine, and base notes of cashmerian and tonka. To enjoy Juliet, you do have to enjoy a true white floral, and you also do have to enjoy pink pepper because I get both of those from this. But there is something about the type of jasmine in here mixed with that little bit of fruitiness I get from a sour cherry. This is not in your face cherry. This is not syrupy cherry. This is not candy cherry. To me, the cherry just kind of mildly lingers in that opening and just adds almost a little brightness and something almost a little soapy. There's something about the way the jasmine and the cherry play together that gives me kind of a soapy vibe, and that's actually why I really like this for this time of year when it's still really warm out. But again, I don't want something that smells summery. I have found myself reaching for this a lot. I wear it to the gym. I wear it to work because that little bit of soapiness gives me a little bit of a freshness that I find really nice, especially with it being so hot recently. I get a ton of that jasmine, so you have to enjoy jasmine to like this. To me, this is very much a white floral fragrance more than anything else. I find the pink pepper adds a really nice spiciness, but it is not pumpkin pie spice or cinnamon spice, that kind of edible gourmand spice you find in a lot of fall fragrances. This just adds kind of an interesting little warmth. If you enjoy this style of pink pepper in Glossier U, I get a very similar pink pepper in that as I do in Juliet. That's confusing. Juliet by that I get in Juliet by Juliet Has a Gun. An absolute favorite in my collection. Bare by Victoria's Secret. I think this is just a stellar fragrance. Like, it's incredible in my opinion. In here we have main accords of woody, powdery, violet, citrus, and warm, spicy. We have top notes, mid notes, and base notes. They're all the same. Sandalwood, violet, and mandarin orange. It is so crazy that there's only 3 notes in here, but it makes such a beautiful and elegant fragrance. This is so good for that transitional period because the violet to me gives it a little refreshing brightness. The mandarin makes it sweet and bright. And then that wonderful, beautiful sandalwood makes it very grounded and smooth and rich and elegant. This is honestly like a stunner. I really think this smells like it could be a $300 fragrance. It is so classy. Honestly, the bottle speaks perfectly for the fragrance inside. This is a classy, feminine fragrance. I would wear this during the day. I would wear it in the evening. She just works. My coworker actually wore this to our work event, and I kept smelling something, and I finally tapped her on the shoulder. I was like, "Are you wearing a fragrance?" And she was like, "Yeah, Bare by Victoria's Secret," because she smelled so good. I had to find out who it was and what they were wearing. This won't be too much in the heat, but it has enough warm spiciness in there that it still works in the cool evenings. I seriously love this fragrance, like one of my favorites in my entire collection, and that is saying something because I have a lot of fragrances. That is Bare by Victoria's Secret. If you want that gourmand fragrance that's not going to be too gourmand, I really think Vanilla 28 by Kayali is a great pick. This is a stunning fragrance. It is a compliment getter. I wore it to work the other day and a coworker was like, "You smell really good." I was like, "Well, thank you. That is my favorite compliment." Kayali Vanilla 28 has the accords of amber sweet vanilla, woody, warm spicy, powdery, musky, floral, and patchouli. Top notes of vanilla orchid and jasmine. In the mid, we've got brown sugar and tonka. In the base, we have amber, amberwood, musk, and patchouli. I'm usually not a huge patchouli fan, but honestly, when it is done right, it really serves a purpose in fragrances. The florals in here are really pretty, very smooth, very soft. To me, this is not an in-your-face floral fragrance. If you're not a fan of florals, these just do a beautiful job of creating the fragrance profile of Vanilla 28 without being a in-your-face floral fragrance. It is really a brown sugar bomb. It is sweet, but the way the floral notes mix with the base notes, it doesn't go too sweet. It's not syrupy. There's a lovely powderiness in here, so this never becomes cloying or bothersome for me, even when I wear it on warmer days. And this is the type of vanilla gourmand fragrance that does work in the daytime, at nighttime, in the warmth, in the cool weather. This is a great, honestly, all year fragrance, but I think it works so well for the transitional period. This is a compliment getter because basically everybody loves a good vanilla fragrance. Even with it having patchouli, which can be kind of a hated note, it is not so in your face that's gonna bother people. This is just a really likable, feminine fragrance. Smelling it, I honestly wanna wear her right now. Fun fact, I didn't get the hype at first. The first time I smelled it, I was like, what's the big deal with this? This is one that, for me, A little tip here is, it's not great until the color looks like this. When you first get Vanilla 28, a brand new fresh bottle is going to be very light brown. And the first time I smelled it at Sephora, the juice was very light brown, and I was kind of like, well, there's really nothing spectacular about this. And then I went to a store months, maybe a year later, that had a very dark juice like this, and I tried it on, and oh my gosh, I fell in love with her. This really does need to age a little bit. That the vanilla in here just gets better and better. When the juice looks almost purple, that is when she is perfect. And I absolutely love Vanilla 28. Then I felt like I needed one transitional fragrance that wasn't so ultra girly. I feel like all the other ones I mentioned were pretty darn feminine fragrances, but that is my style. I usually don't reach for a lot of unisex or masculine leaning fragrances, but there is something about this fragrance that I find really intoxicating. This is Guess Seductive Noir, and it's very affordable. Look at Burlington and places like that. You can usually get it for like 20 bucks. Don't pay full price. I think a brand new bottle of this is like $70. Don't pay that much. Seductive Noir has the accords of vanilla, aromatic, powdery, iris white floral, earthy, woody, herbal, floral, and soft spicy. We have top notes of sage, bergamot, and peony. Middle notes, iris, jasmine, lily of the valley, and base notes of vanilla, vetiver, and suede. This is a very aromatic, like very aromatic fragrance, but the vanilla in here is so rich and yummy. To me, it is like a bourbon vanilla. It's almost a little boozy. It is a bit syrupy. It is rich. It is decadent. But those very aromatic notes balance it out beautifully to where it's not cloyingly sweet. It is sexy on a cool evening. This is that perfect transitional night out fragrance. You want to smell a little different, a little unique. You're not going to smell like every other woman in the room, but you're going to turn heads and get noticed. I think this is perfect. Again, the bottle really fits it. Black with gold accents. She is not afraid to speak her mind. She stands tall with her shoulders back, but she looks just killer in her slinky black dress on her night out. And that is Guess Seductive Noir, and she's perfect for a night out. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my transitional fall fragrances. What are some of your favorites for this in between where it's not quite summer but it's not quite fall? Let me know down below. I always love hearing your guys' recommendations. I'm always on the hunt to add new things to my collection, even though I shouldn't be. All right, definitely leave that down below. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and as always, please try to stay positive, because at the end of the day, that is truly all we can try to do. Mwah! I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.